Long ago, in a magical kingdom of India, the king, praying for an heir, held a sacred ritual. As the sacrificial fire blazed its brightest, a blinding golden light pierced the air. A beautiful maiden was born, emerging slowly from the flames. Her arrival was an echo of destiny itself. Her skin was dark as night, yet smooth as silk. Her eyes shone like stars, and a soft fragrance of lotus emanated from her. The people cried out in awe, "She is the daughter of fire." She was named Draupadi. Because of her dark complexion, she was affectionately known as the Dark Princess. The Dark Princess grew in the light of wisdom and courage. Her mind was as sharp as fire, her will as strong as steel. She learned the arts of war and the ways of governance, speaking boldly in the royal court and showing no fear on the battlefield. Her heart was destined for more than an ordinary fate. When she came of age, she announced a contest to win her hand. He who can string the divine bow and pierce the fish's eye suspended high above, he shall be my husband. Countless princes came to try, and one by one they all failed. Until a young man in simple clothes stepped forward. He was Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas. With a twang of the bowstring, the arrow cut through the wind. A direct hit. The crowd erupted, and the bond of destiny was forged. On the day of the wedding, flowers filled the palace, and the sound of flutes drifted through the air. Draupadi and Yudhishthira were joined in marriage, and the king and his people celebrated, blessing this union of fire and fate. But behind the curtain of celebration, a shadow was quietly approaching. Yudhishthira was calm, righteous, and deeply loved by the people, but he had one weakness, a love for gambling. His cousin, Duryodhana, was consumed by jealousy. He secretly laid a trap, summoning his uncle Shakuni to lure him into a game with enchanted dice. With a soft rattle of the dice, the wheel of fate began to turn. At first, Yudhishthira won repeatedly to the cheers of the crowd, but the thrill of victory was a poison that slowly consumed his reason. "I wager my jewels," lost. "I wager my kingdom," lost. "I wager myself," still he lost. Until at last, in desperation, he cried out, "I wager my wife, the Dark Princess." The moment the words left his lips, he was filled with regret. But it was too late. He lost again. The hall fell into a dead silence, and even the flames and the torches seemed to tremble. The Dark Princess was dragged violently into the great hall before all eyes. "Someone rip off her sari." Duryodhana laughed maniacally. But when the guards reached for it, the sari became endless. 1 foot, 10 feet, 100 feet. Her garment flowed like a celestial river. No matter how they tore at it, her dignity was protected by the gods. In that moment, everyone witnessed it. The light of justice cannot be torn asunder. Finally, an elder minister roared in anger. "This game is unlawful. A king who has already lost himself has no right to wager another." Other princes and nobles quickly agreed. "The wager is void. This is an insult to the royal family." The palace echoed with sounds of indignation. Tears welled in Draupadi's eyes, but she stood tall. Her silence was more powerful than thunder. She stared at Duryodhana and the silent nobles, and coldly, word by word, she spoke. Today you condone the humiliation of a queen. Tomorrow you will bury the justice of this entire kingdom. She raised her hands, her fury turning into a curse. I curse you, the Kuru clan. You will be devoured by your own arrogance and cruelty. The heavens themselves raged, and lightning tore across the sky. Afterward, she and the Pandavas were exiled for 12 years. They lived in the desolate forests, bearing their shame and hardship. The dark princess remained strong. In her eyes, the fire of vengeance and anticipation burned. The years of suffering forged their souls. 13 years later, they returned to demand their kingdom back. Duryodhana refused, and so the fires of war were ignited on the fields of Kurukshetra. For 18 days, the battle raged, and the very heavens wept. The 100 sons of the Kuru clan were all slain. The arrogant Duryodhana was defeated, and his kingdom turned to ash. The dark princess stood silently at the edge of the battlefield. The wind rustled her long sari, and the firelight reflected in her tear-filled eyes. Just as her curse had foretold, those who do evil will ultimately reap what they sow.